Hello, and welcome to the Mommy Escape Time podcast. I'm Lauren. I'm a wife and a new mom. I came up with the idea of this podcast after struggling to find mommy groups around me when my son was born. I wanted a community of mothers I heard so many of my friends talk about when they had their children. This podcast is to help mothers like me that want a community of mothers to connect with when they have their free time. Together with my usual guest, Taryn, and other mothers, we will share our experiences, not our advice, through motherhood, and hopefully get some tips from you, the listeners. So come join us on the Mommy Escape Time podcast. Hello, and welcome to the Mommy Escape Time podcast. I am Lauren, and I'm here with Taryn.
Hi.
So, yes, I am still sick. If you're listening to consecutive episodes, we're recording a few in a row.
Yeah.
So it's not like I've been sick for that long, although I have been.
It hasn't been a short time either.
But so if I sound a little weird, I'm going to do my best, but this time I definitely have to drink some water while we're recording. But today's show, we're going to focus on baby gifts that we liked, either from our shower or maybe gifts that people gave us later on. I'm going to give maybe two ideas for you guys if you what I did at my baby shower, which I really loved. And I'll also put them up in our show notes. So if you want to see it there, and I'll try and share it on Instagram so you guys can see it there. But I don't know. We'll just kind of dive in. So we'll kind of just go back and forth. We'll each talk about one thing that we liked, and we'll go back and forth. So my absolute favorite baby gift of all time was the Rock and Play. And
yes,
if you don't know what the Rock and Play is, it's a Fisher-Price thing. And there's two different versions. There's one that does not plug into the wall, and there's one that does plug into the wall. I had one that did not plug into the wall, and I still absolutely loved it. I used it every single day past when I was supposed to with my son. I used it every single day, anytime we went anywhere, until he was probably sitting up at 5 months, so I couldn't use it anymore.
Yeah, because he would sit up and out of it.
Right. But what it is it's like a hammock that's raised up and tilted on like a 30-degree angle. I'm sorry, we're math teachers.
Yeah. I totally can see that in my mind.
But it'll be up on the website. I'll have all the products linked so you guys can see what they are and whatnot. But they and you just kind of put the baby into it, and it was great because I could move. The Rock and Play is light and it folds up. So like I went to if I went to someone else's house, sometimes I would bring it so that I wouldn't have to hold my child the entire time.
Which is so nice to have free hands for a little bit when they're newborns. Yeah.
And even like to feed, it was angled enough up that I could feed him in there if I needed to. I can't think of a reason why I would need to, but maybe if I was sick like this, I probably wouldn't hold him close to my chest.
Right.
So that would be, one solution, I guess. But it was great. I mean, when they're really little infants, I mean, they have to be everywhere with you, and you can't just like lie them flat on the ground.
Yeah.
And I have all hardwood floors in my house. So, and it was just so perfect because he loved it, and he could rock himself. Like he learned very quickly, like how to rock himself. It doesn't do a ton of rocking. And if you use it at the appropriate ages, they could not rock out of it.
Maybe at 5 months.
Maybe at 5 months when, we were kind of pushing it. But I was just getting over my broken leg at that point. So we had to use it as long as possible at that point. So, and I used the Rock and Play when I first got out of my wheelchair. And I was able to, and I had a boot on, and I had to put my son in the bathtub. There were a few times my husband couldn't be home, and there was just no one else around.
Right.
And so I would bring the rock and play upstairs. Then I would bring my son upstairs and I would put him in the rock and play. And then I would kneel down and then I could pick him up out of the rock and play.
Clever.
And put him in. And then again, when I was taking him out of the shower or the bath, sorry, he's not showering at, 5 months old. I could put him in the rock and play and like have the towel spread out so I could just place him in there and wrap him up in that. He was in a swing before I brought the rock and play upstairs, if that's unclear. So I had him in the swing, so he was in something, and then I brought the rock and play upstairs.
You weren't just leaving him on the floor.
No. So, but yeah, I mean, so there's like a lot of creative ways for the gym when, before I broke my leg, every day I would bring him downstairs. Please understand, I would first walk him. I would put him in something, then I would bring the rock and play downstairs, then I would put him in the rock and play. So I was not carrying him around in this rock and play.
Instead of a bucket, you just put it in the rock and play.
So, but he could be in the rock and play and I could be like working out and he'd be fine.
That's awesome.
So it was definitely the most used gift, my favorite gift, and unexpected. Like people are like, oh yeah, you should get it. But like not thinking about the reason behind why you would get it.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely something I would recommend. So.
I found that with my registry too. People were like, oh, you have to get this. And I was like, okay, not really thinking about why, because I was pregnant and I had zero brain capacity to like comprehend anything.
Okay.
But my favorite, or the one that I remember the most, is the double pack and play.
I had no idea that was even a thing.
Yeah, so it's a little bit bigger than a typical pack and play, and then the top piece that hooks on had a divider. So
like the bassinet section?
Yeah, the bassinet section had 2 spots, so I could put one twin on each side, and then it had the changing station attached as well. But we lived and died by that for the first 3 to 6 months before our kids. But we lived in an apartment when they were first born, and our bedroom was too small to have them in our bedroom with us. So we never had to worry about co-sleeping and like what people had to say about co-sleeping. There are lots of judgments out there. I don't judge. You do what you need to do.
Whatever you need to do to survive.
Right. Sleep is so important. So we had it right outside our door. So it wasn't right next to our bed, but it was close by, and it was quick and easy to be able to change them and get them fed and put them back to sleep. But that thing came with us everywhere. Yeah. Our kids slept in it. And at that age, they weren't bickering as much as they are now at 9 years old. They played in it. It came to my mom's house. It went to my dad's house, my grandparents' house. It went to my in-laws' house. It went on vacations with us. It came with us everywhere because it was just so convenient. And just like you're saying, like, I'm not going to just leave them around. They need to be contained somehow. Right. And we had a small space in our apartment, so I would just put them in there and they would figure it out. And it was awesome. And I don't remember the brand. I don't remember who got it for us, but
it does exist.
It does exist. So
I will do my best to find a link for a double pack and play.
We ended up giving it away to another friend of mine who found out she was pregnant with twins after having 2 kids.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, you need this more than me. At that point, we had moved to a house and my kids were in cribs that had been converted to beds. So it was time to give it up, although it was very sad because there were so many memories attached to it. But that was the most used gift I got from my shower.
That's good. All right. So my next one that I will say that I used the most is probably the swing. So we actually got 2 swings because I know a lot of people and I had to keep putting stuff on the registry because I didn't register. I thought I didn't register for a lot. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like I registered for a lot. Like I didn't register for anything that you would need after 6 months. I just wanted the beginning stuff and that's it. And then from there I was like, I won't know what they're going to need, so I don't want to register for it. So I got 2 swings. I got the Mamaroo swing and just like a classic, I don't know, swing.
Mm-hmm.
um, the Mamaroo swing did not, I would say my son liked it
Yeah.
until about 3 months. And then
Okay.
he needed the intense
Yes.
swing. So I can't even imagine what I would have done without that swing.
Yeah.
We still use it now, even though he's 9 months. You can use it until he's walking,
Yes.
technically.
And my sister has used hers beyond.
Right.
So.
One of the things is that like my son has had a cold, so he needs to sleep sitting up.
Yep.
And so it's just easier sometimes for naps during the day to do that and not fight him the whole time because he doesn't like to nap to begin with. So I don't want him to fight the whole time and not ever take a nap when he's sick.
Right.
It's just
He
easier to
needs
put him in
it.
the swing. And Speed 6 is there for a reason. So I'm just letting you know. So don't be afraid to use Speed 6, even if they're really young. I mean,
Yeah.
it's they
The companies
need it.
wouldn't put it there if it wasn't
Right.
safe for a child at any age that they say that the item is approved for. So if they say
Right.
it's for 0 to 3 years or 0 to 1 year,
Right.
you could put it at speed 6 for however many months old.
Right.
Like it's okay, which
Right.
was shocking to friends of mine that would come over and see me put the swing on so high.
Because I know you use the swing a lot.
Yeah, we use the swing a lot. So, and had a very similar experience. My daughter, she was a much calmer baby, so she didn't need as much. We could put her in her bucket and just leave her and she would be fine. My son had to be moving. So when we first registered, we didn't register for an electric one. We just registered for like the Fisher Price.
Like battery operated.
Not
one.
even battery operated.
Oh.
It was just like when you put the baby in, it was on the metal base was flat on the ground and then at like a 45-degree angle. And when the baby was in, their weight would make it bounce. So we put my son in that, but he needed so much more than that. My husband would step on the edge of the frame so that my son's bottom was hitting the floor and bouncing up. And I finally said, you know what? That's it. Like clearly he needs a lot of motion to be comforted.
Right.
And we went out and we bought one that was electronic that went up to speed 6 and we cranked that sucker up.
Yeah.
And my son slept the best of any nap when he was in that swing.
Right. And I think, especially like we both struggled with our sons, like just taking naps at all. It was so hard. I mean, now he's a little better, but I mean, my son is never like probably at 1, he'll be done taking naps.
Oh, yeah. I think my son was done by 1 too. And I was able to prolong it a little bit more because, well, actually, no, that's partially a lie. I think I prolonged it a little bit more. But what I really think happened is I would lay down with him and I would fall asleep and he would just sit up next to me wide awake. And I was so tired, I didn't realize he wasn't napping.
Right.
But as soon as he was in like a daycare, they would say, oh, no, he doesn't really nap. We require them to sit on the cot, but he rarely falls asleep. And the days that he did fall asleep, I knew within a couple days he was getting sick.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And sure enough, every time, like clockwork, I was like, okay, here it is.
Yeah. So
the swings were a godsend for us, for him.
And I hear from a lot of parents that the Mamaroo swing, which is, it looks a lot like the rock and play and it just does different motions. So as opposed to just swinging back and forth, it kind of does like up and down. It does a car motion. That really works better with girls. And I don't know what that is. I think it's calmer. Like the swing, to me, the swing is very like precise in what it's doing.
Yes.
And the Mamaroo is kind of like, okay, we're moving you, but it's gentle and it's slow and
that's what my daughter was fine with. Like she could have just a little vibration in her seat and then she was good and she would sleep, no problem. But my son needed intense movements. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of stole Taryn's swing thing, so I don't know if you can come up with another one.
No, that's okay. One of the things that I really liked, and this might take away from one of your ideas, but that's okay.
That's okay.
It's not exactly the same. My sister-in-law made me a diaper cake.
Oh, nice.
And it was so cute. And it had a picture of the kids' cousins that were already born at the time and a frame on it. And it had little tchotchkes around it. But she put diapers in there that were newborn, size 1, and size 2.
Oh, so like each layer of the cake was a different. Oh,
So,
that's nice.
and I've seen a lot of diaper cakes. They were newer to me 9.5 years ago when the kids were born. That, like, I was so innovative. And some of the ones I've seen recently, they do all the same size diaper.
Right.
Well, your kids need different size diapers and they grow so fast. I was so grateful because sometimes I didn't have size 2s when my kids were ready for size 2s, and I didn't realize it.
Right.
Because my son just started peeing out of his size 1s, and I was like, okay, like, time to move up. And thank God she had gotten me that gift, because I had some ready to go before I needed to go buy a box on my own, and I could see if that brand worked.
Right.
So I really liked that.
That's a good idea for a diaper cake. I never thought about that to do each layer a different size, because you're right. You don't know when your kid is outgrowing their diaper until stuff like that happens. And sometimes you're like, why is it getting everywhere? Like, I don't understand. And just to have them to try out, especially I would say for newborn 1 and 2s, because you're once you get like through that, you're like, okay, like, you're starting to learn things and you can catch on. So that's helpful. So Taryn was at my shower, and this is just an add-on to this one. Yeah. But one of the things that I did at my shower that someone else had recommended to me is doing a diaper raffle.
Great idea.
Which I can't recommend anything more. I mean, just do a diaper raffle. And so how it works is with the invitations that we sent out, I attached a small piece of paper with a paper clip to make sure that people saw the piece of paper.
Also, smart move.
Teacher, so just remember that. And what I did is I wrote on there, if you bring a package of diapers, then you'll be entered in to win a prize at the shower. I don't specify like what size, what brand, how big the package has to be.
Just diapers.
Just leave it as diapers. You also could say diapers and wipes. I'm a little high maintenance, I'll say, about some stuff. And so I had very specific wipes. I wanted to only use water wipes. I struggle with things that have alcohol in them. It really dries out my skin. So I just didn't want to do that to my son. And obviously in a pinch, I'll take whatever wipe I can get. It's not like I'm like, oh, no, I can't use
those wipes. My son will sit in his dirty diaper instead.
But like when I can, I provide him with those water wipes. But anyways, so for the diaper raffle, that's what happened. And I think I had, 25 people come to the shower, maybe 30. Taryn was there, so it's okay. She knows.
And I brought diapers.
Yes. And it was very interesting to see. I was very lucky. People were very generous with their diapers. I had some people that brought like smaller packages, and they brought 2 different sizes of packages. Yeah. I had sizes from I had no newborns, and I had size 1, size 2, size 3, and a few size 4s that I got. And I remember being like, my son will never get to size 4.
I remember thinking the same thing.
He's in size 4. He's 9 months old.
Yep. And wasn't it so nice to have those sizes ready to go for when he started to grow out of the smaller size? It's just such a good idea.
Yes. And it was so interesting because in the beginning, I would say the majority of people brought Pampers, and everyone's like, oh, you need Pampers, And at the hospital, we were given Huggies. And so I was really used to Huggies, and even all our newborn diapers were actually Huggies. And then we changed over to the diapers that we had gotten, which were size 1. So they were all Pampers. And the nice thing is that even though I didn't need to use all the size ones. Like he outgrew them before we got them. I was able to return them, and I'll try and put up the app. There's an app that you can scan the boxes with, and it will tell you which store sells it.
Oh.
So, like I knew that I had to return one to Walmart and another one to Target based on the
barcode,
the barcode,
the UPS,
the UPC,
yeah,
right.
UPS is not the company delivering your packages,
right. And I had people who didn't come to the shower, and they sent diapers, like that was their gift. So, please, diapers are like the best thing to get at a shower.
I always send diapers,
right? Even if you return them, like we did not spend anything on diapers. We had to use the newborn from the hospital, and we got like 3 packages. No, that's not normal, just so you know. But we got 3 packages.
But if you want to bring an empty luggage to
right.
the hospital when you give birth, not a bad idea.
Yeah. So we and we had hit our deductible before I had my son, so I knew I was okay. So I did not buy diapers until he was 7 months old. So we only just started buying him diapers.
Awesome.
And then at month 8, he started daycare where they provide the diapers.
So now you use even less.
So now we don't even have to use as much. So I kind of feel like it saved a lot of money. The only thing I do have to buy is overnight diapers. It's for peace of mind, which you don't have to buy. I'm just so tired. I just can't wake up and change sheets anymore.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that. I would have never thought to bring overnight diapers to a diaper raffle, but why not?
I got 2 boxes.
That's
so
such a
I
good
actually
idea.
am still using overnight diapers now from my shower. So I still have those. I've only had to buy 1 box because I forgot I even had overnight diapers.
Right.
So, but
That's
don't
awesome.
feel like you have to buy them, but I'm just tired. So that's all. So I definitely recommend doing the diaper raffle. And I will put instructions and what I used up online just so you guys can kind of see it. But I loved it. And what I did for the drawing part of it, at first I was like, oh, I'll just do, a few, cheap gift cards. And I was like, some people are going to spend like $20 on a box of diapers for me. I was like, and I'm getting all those diapers for free. So I got 3 different $20 gift cards because I figured if a box of diapers is about $20, a little over, I said the gift card should reflect that. And I did 3. So I definitely recommend, depending on how many people are there and whatnot, definitely to do that because all my friends now, they're all doing it. And they say it's, it's just don't worry if it's not your brand, it's not your size. You can figure that out.
You can exchange it. You can do what you need to do.
Right.
Or make it work for 1 box.
Right.
And move on.
Don't worry. You'll be at the store. So it's not a problem.
My friend did something similar, but not with diapers. She did it with books. Bring a book to start our baby's library, and then you were entered into a raffle. And her son had the cutest array of books when he was born. I was like, I didn't do any of that stuff at my shower.
No.
I was very overwhelmed being pregnant with twins. And so I didn't want one gigantic shower. I did it for my wedding, and it was so overwhelming, and I didn't feel like I gave any one person enough time. So I said, I don't care what happens, but I want 2 separate showers because I have family that lives in New York and family in Connecticut. So my husband's family planned a Connecticut shower, and I said, it doesn't have to be expensive. Like, it could be at someone's house. It could be a barbecue. I don't care. Like, I'm not a glitz and glamour person. I don't need all the stuff. I mean, it's nice if I get it, but I'm never needing it. So my Connecticut shower was at a hall, and it was a lot, but it was like 30 people. And then I went to my grandmother's house on Long Island, and that's where we had the New York shower, and it was just perfect. It was probably about 20 people, but having those 2 small showers separate, I felt like I could sit with my family for a decent amount of time so they didn't feel like they were wasting their time, and I could honor them for celebrating me, and then I could do the same with the family and friends in Connecticut. And
Right.
then I even had some friends who lived kind of in the middle, and I said, well, you can choose.
Right.
You can go to the Long Island one, you can go to the Connecticut one. I don't care. Like, I want you to be there because I appreciate you and I want you in my life and I want you to celebrate this with me. Just show up. So what my sister did for my Long Island shower to make the gift opening a little bit more interesting, because that does become a little mundane.
Right.
She had twin babies spelled out on bags, and they would set a timer at arbitrary times, and whoever's gift I was opening would get one of the letters, and inside the bags that the letters were on had little gifts for them. So
that's cute.
So yeah, it was fun. It made it interesting, and probably because she tried to get as many letters as possible, I think everybody almost won something.
That's
good.
Nice.
So that was nice.
That's a good idea too.
Yeah. And of course my husband made the cake, so there was a theme. So he did like 2 peas in a pod. So for the one in Connecticut, it was tiered because we didn't have to travel as far and it was easy. And then the one on Long Island had the same 2 peas in a pod on it, but it was one tier, and it was perfect. It was probably, had I had a say in my shower, how my wedding shower, how that would have gone also.
Right.
Because for me, it's more about the quality time that I'm spending with people.
Right.
And that's what means the most to me. So some of the things that I liked the most from the shower and beyond was people just coming and sitting with me. Like, I was a hot mess. I was nursing. I didn't know if it was day or night because my kids' sleep cycles were flipped when they first came home. But to have someone there to just keep me company was the most amazing gift I could get from people.
Right.
So that's something to consider too. Don't be afraid to say, "Oh, can I come visit? Do you want company?" Because I know that we're in deep when the babies are first born, but sometimes we need that breath of fresh air.
Yeah, we'll have to do a show about like the first month, because
it's a blur, but I'll see what I can remember.
We will. And I'll put up pictures. Taryn's husband also made my cake at the shower. And my husband still talks about the cake. He goes, not a reason to have another child, but but my husband and I ate that cake. Oh, I don't know. We ate every single piece. We ate it all. So it was definitely the hit of the party, because people took cake home. So yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of ideas for showers out there. So yeah.
So many. You can go on Pinterest and find ideas, but make sure that it's what you want.
Yeah.
And that register for everything or don't register for anything, and just know that you'll figure it out.
And if you're not sure and you registered for something and you're like, I'm just not sure if I'm going to use it, don't take it out of the package. Just wait until the baby comes and see if you use it or not. And if not, don't feel bad about returning it. The person that got it for you wanted to do something for you to make your life better, easier, or your baby's life better, easier. So get something that's for you.
That's useful, yeah.
So,
and to be totally honest, the person who got it for you probably doesn't remember what they got you.
No.
So if you return it and say, this is what you got me, they'll be like, oh yeah, totally.
Right. So don't feel like that. The last gift that I just want to talk about that I got, which won't apply to everyone. And I didn't know if it was going to apply to me or not, but I wanted to get it because it's more of an expensive gift. So I got the Baby Brezza, and that I want to say it's the newer high-end model out there. But what it is it's a bottle making machine. So
it did not exist when my kids were born.
So I had gotten it because one of my friends had a child about 9 months before I did. And she ended up having to go to formula, and she was like, you push a button and the formula's on the top, the water's on the side, kind of like a Keurig.
Yeah. It's like the Keurig for baby formula.
Right. And you press a button, you pick how many ounces of a bottle you want, and you press it and it makes it. And it's like, at first you're like, okay, like whatever. But
how hard is it to make a bottle? Right.
When you're tired and you're exhausted and in the middle of the night, trust me, it was the best thing I ever had.
Yeah.
I can't say enough good things about it. It's awesome. I still use it now. I didn't anticipate that I was ever going to have to use it, and I actually
Right.
almost returned it before I had my child. And you don't know what's going to happen.
You just don't know.
Yeah. So
That's one of those items that made me think of my mom and my mother-in-law, because they would come to my house and they would say, oh, if I had this when I had kids, it would have been so much easier. Oh, this is easy. This, I don't know why you're saying it's challenging. And when I heard about that, I was like, I didn't think there was anything else that could have been invented out
Right.
there. And there's this thing. And I'm like, this is so easy. I wish I had this. It would have made it so much easier. And I was like, oh my God, I sound like my mom.
I know. And it's so funny because so many people, we've had a lot of people over, and I always try and show it to people. I have another a parent I have from school. I've had her twins before. And so when she came to meet my son, I had to show her. And she's like, I had twins and they were different sizes. So they had to have different formula, different amounts of formula at each feeding. They were not at the same time. One ate every 2 hours. One had to eat every hour.
Oh my gosh.
And they were two different types of formula that she had to do. And she was like, I would have bought 2 of these, and I would have just
pushed the button.
She's like, I never slept for years. I just didn't sleep. So, if
Don't knock it till you try it.
It is about $200, and I want to break that down for you. If you're using it right now, I use it 5 times a day. And I've used it since my son was about 2 months old. Every day. And I used to use it more because he used to have 7 to 8 bottles a day.
Right.
So you have to think about that. Like, how is it worth it for you? Like, there is
So we can estimate here.
Right.
So
We're math.
starting at 2 months old, he's 9 months old now. That's 7 months
Right.
at about 5 times a day. If 7 months is like 30 days, that's
Right.
210 days.
Right.
210 days times 5 bottles is 1,050 bottles, I think. Did I do that
Around
right?
there. At least we could say, let's say it's around 1,000.
200 by
Right.
5 is 1,000.
Yeah. So we're somewhere around 1,000. So you kind of have to think, and we have months to go. And so that's why, I don't know. I definitely think it was worth it. A $200 item that you use every single day, multiple times a day.
Literally thousands of times.
Right. And it works with different formulas. So it's not like it only works with like one type of formula. Like, there's a setting that you put on based on what type of formula you have.
And now, are the formulas in cups, or do you just take it from the container
No,
and
so
put
I
it
buy
in?
like the big round tub containers, and I just pour in stuff every couple of days.
It's even better than a Keurig.
Yeah, because you can use it multiple times without having to do anything.
Yeah.
So, and the water reservoir I fill up once a day. And it keeps the water warm, not hot, but it's like whatever the perfect temperature is. And I will say, depending on what bottles you use, or it's not going to be a perfect 5-ounce bottle, you know.
Close enough, I'm sure.
So please understand that it might make a little more or a little less. When you make your own bottles, I guarantee you're not doing it perfectly either.
Yeah.
So just understand that the measurement might be off a little bit, but not by more than an ounce.
Yeah.
And you could always save it and, use it in the next bottle. So that,
Or add a little more water. Yeah.
right. And the only other item that I wanted to say for my shower was I did 2 at every station. When people came in, we did these. I had cards there.
Oh, I love this. Yeah.
So one card was like a guessing game, guessing like the weight, the height of the baby, when he was going to come. We didn't know what we were having. And let me tell you, if you want to have fun with your parents or your in-laws, don't find out what you're having. It drives them nuts. Okay?
Yes.
No one could understand why I didn't want to find out. And I always had the same response. I'm going to keep it no matter what. So,
Yeah, right.
It's fine. And everyone's like, yeah, but you have to plan. What am I going to plan? What outfits he's going to have?
Right.
I,
And in our society, with the way gender is so fluid
Yeah.
now, come on.
I know. Half the time, even now at 9 months, they're like, oh, what a cute girl. I'm like, it's a boy.
Yeah. Right.
Whatever. So I don't know. But I promise you, if you want to have fun with your in-laws or your own parents, this is the best thing. It drove my mother. Oh, she would be like, can I call the doctor and find out what you got are having? And I was like, no. So that was fun. And actually, my sister-in-law won. So she came.
She did?
No one actually picked the day that we had, but there were a bunch of people that picked the time, the length, and the weight.
Wow.
So yeah, so that was kind of nice. And then the other cards were advice cards, and people took liberties. Some people wrote advice to me. Some people wrote advice to my son. I didn't really care which one they did, but it was nice. It was just nice to have everyone write stuff down, and it gave people something to do at the shower because not everyone knew each other.
And it was a conversation starter. Oh, what are you writing? Oh, I wrote this because, it was really fun.
Yeah. So I'll also put that up in the show notes if you guys want to see it, just to see where I got it. I get everything on Amazon, so everything is pretty much there. So yeah. Are there any other gifts that you could think of? Last minute?
That was the one that really stood out for me, that double pack and play.
Yeah.
Everything else I think was helpful, and I was in so over my head that it was a blur.
Right.
I was just so grateful that people took time out of their day and money out of their budget to provide me with stuff for my kids, it was overwhelming, the gratitude that I felt for everything that my kids got. And they used most of it, and we returned some of it, and some of the clothes we handed down to my nephew and my niece that were born shortly after, because there was just so much of everything. It was just an awesome experience.
Right. I think I enjoyed the baby shower more than my wedding shower.
Agreed.
I think the focus not being on you, and it's you could help more in your own baby shower, like that's more acceptable, and I just feel like it's a lot more relaxed, and everyone's just so happy. Like everyone's just so happy. So so that'll do it for today for our episode. If you guys have any comments about what your favorite things were, check out Instagram. I'll be putting up a few pictures of stuff that we've used, and Taryn's husband's cakes that he's made for showers, just so you guys can see. And please check out the show notes. I'll have a whole thing about all these different products on the website, Mommy Escape Time. So check it out. All right. We will talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.